Welcome back to Another Thing. I'm Larry Menti. We want to continue our conversation on surprise billing, the out-of-network billing, with Jon Bayley, who received one of those surprise bills. John, where do you live?
I live in Ewing, New Jersey.
You live in Ewing, New Jersey. So let's go back to the beginning. What was the procedure? What was the medical procedure you had to go through, or your family did?
I was suffering from a little bit of back pain. My doctor referred me to my local hospital, which is not far from my house, to get a back x-ray. And I've had x-rays, MRIs before, no big deal. And I got a bill later from $6,000. $3,000, which I'd be responsible for because of my high deductible, the contracted rate, and
let's stop for a second. So you said it was going to be $6,000. So you went through the procedure already?
Yes, I'd already got bill? Yes.
And before you went through the procedure, did you do your due diligence to make sure that everything was covered?
I made sure they were in network, and they were. They were referred to my, like I said, by the doctor, who also is my network, and not knowing that it would be any different than any other place to get an x-ray, that's where I went.
And so where did the surprise bill come from? Where was the surprise cost in that?
The surprise cost was that it was $3,000. Totally it was $6,000.
But why?
As I said, I don't know.
To this day, because most people have somebody that's in there that's out of network that's involved,
right,
that wasn't supposed to be involved originally. You don't believe that's the case with your bill?
No, I asked billing and they told me that was the rate that they charged normally, and at that point I thought I better call around and see what else is out there. Why were they charging so much? Because I've been to radiological places and never had seen a bill like that.
And did it turn out that it was because they were out of network?
No, they were in my network.
And so so this is something different than we were just talking about. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And so what was the surprise? Have you investigated at all to find out?
I called around. I was told by my benefits coordinator where I work to call other places that do x-rays, other hospitals, and see what their prices would be. And I got a range from $225 to $1,200. And that's when I really thought I should call them again, make sure they didn't get the code incorrect on their billing, and they told me, no, this is the correct billing, and I would be responsible for the $3,000 that was not picked up by the insurance company.
No, you didn't pay it, did you?
I did not. I paid little by little each month so that I could figure out what I was going to go from there, just so they wouldn't say you're delinquent on your billing. And I reached out to my local legislators, state senator, and Representative Holt, the U.S. representative at the time, and they looked into it. They weren't able to really come to a conclusion about what I could do, and I got just to a point where, okay, maybe if I wasn't insured, what would they charge me? So I called billing and I asked, what's an uninsured rate? And they said $500, and I said, well, okay, would that be okay to pay that? And they said, we can agree to that.
To me, that's mind-blowing. So if you went in there with no insurance,
yes,
you pay $500. If you go in there with insurance, you pay $6,000. Yes. Can you explain that to me?
All I can think of is they know if they can get the money, they will get the money.
So they only charge that much if you're insured because they figure there's a bigger pot of money
guessing,
there.
Yes. Yes, that's what I think.
Wouldn't that be the definition of price gouging?
Sounds like it, yes.
Now, I know you talked with Chuck,
yes,
who we had on in the first segment, and you told him what happened with you. What was his response to that?
He said that he's not unsurprised because he knows from, I explained to him I use the price predictor estimator from my insurance company, and the estimator said it would be about $35. That was the typical range for a back x-ray. And that's where my beef was with the insurance company, that the estimator was not even close. And he said, yeah, there was a lot of problems with trying to get the estimation correct on those insurance websites, that they're not always what they should be as far as what you're going to get into when you get a bill.
What are you doing now? I mean, I know so you paid the $500, right?
I'm a free and clear finally, yes.
But does it linger?
It makes me hesitant to go back there, yes. I repeatedly say to people, it's my choice of last resort as far as going to get health care, only because I don't want to be surprised by a huge bill that I probably couldn't afford.
And does it linger to the point where you're passionate to fix this problem?
I'd love to. I'd love to pursue it. I'm always looking for stories that other people have run into the same thing. On the way in here, the PBS station in Philadelphia had a story just like this, where folks were going in for an MRI. They used their cost estimator. It told them $500. It turned out to be $2,000. And again, they're in the same boat.
It almost seems like it, especially in your case, it almost seems like it should be illegal.
You'd have to talk to the legislature about
Well, you are going to talk to the legislature. That's what I was headed towards. Chuck heard your story and asked if you could come to Trenton and talk to legislators, and you're going to do that.
As soon as he calls me and says there's a slot and I can get away from work, I will do that.
So you taking this as a crusade now to fix this problem?
I would love to not be the leader of this. I would love to help with this. I really don't want to see other people to get this.
Well, crusade's a whole lot of people. I don't mean you had to be out there with your Captain America outfit on.
No, thanks.
But thanks a lot for sharing your story. I really do appreciate it, and it really does. It really blows me away, as I'm sure it did you when you got that bill.
The only person more angry was my wife.
I can imagine. John, thank you so much. I'm glad you got it fixed. Jon Bayley, who was a victim of this overbilling, with a story that is incredible. When we come back,
the record-setting, history-making World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia.